So I'd like to just welcome everybody to tonight's event, Hope Over Heroin in Rock County. I'm Sarah Johnson, the Director of Janesville Mobilizing for Change. Through a contract with Rock County Human Services, we provide the staff support to the Rock County Prescription Drug Abuse and Heroin Task Force. And that's who's worked together to put tonight's event on for you. I'd like to start with just a few thank yous to acknowledge some of the folks in the room who have been really instrumental in pulling tonight together. I'd like to thank Ian Hedges of HealthNet, Jay Williams of the Rock County Sheriff's Office, Chad Woodman of the Janesville Police Department, and Jane Goldberg from Janesville Mobilizing for Change. They each played a significant event in pulling tonight together. A few other thank yous to extend: the volunteers from Recap who were so gracious to help us set up all of our tables and chairs tonight, the Rock County Fairgrounds for allowing us to use this space, and Aramark for kindly donating the cookies for tonight. So regardless of your political feelings, I believe President Obama best summed up the purpose of tonight's event when he spoke about Prescription Opioid and Heroin Epidemic Awareness Week. He stated, "We pause to remember all those who we have lost to opioid use disorder. We stand with the courageous individuals in recovery, and we recognize the importance of raising awareness of this epidemic." It is our intention tonight to deliver a message of hope. Hope for those struggling with their own addiction. Help is available. There are agencies and people who care about you. Recovery is possible. Hope for those with loved ones struggling with addiction. You're not alone. There are support and services for you as well. And hope for the entire community. By working together, we can make a difference and reduce this epidemic which has hit our entire county. So to get things started off tonight, I'd like to welcome our first speaker, Dr. David Murdy. Dr. Murdy is a medical director with a master's in business administration and is a fellow of the American College of Physicians. Dr. Murdy is an internist in practice in Janesville since 1987, first at Riverview Clinic and now with SSM Health Dean Medical Group. He is interested in geriatrics, addiction medicine, among other specialties. He has been past president of the Rock County Medical Society and currently serves as continuing medical education chairman. He serves on the Wisconsin Medical Society Board of Directors and Opioid Task Force. He's married and the father of 4 sons. Please welcome Dr. Murdy.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you for the wonderful turnout tonight. What we're going to try to talk about briefly with the other panelists is a little bit about how doctors in your county and my group at Mercy in Beloit and elsewhere are working together within the rules that are being applied to this epidemic to try to help reduce opioid deaths. And see if I can make the slides work. At St. This is the feast week of St. Francis, and this came up this week on my little email at work, and it's very helpful to help us remember that where there's hatred, let me sow love. Where there's injury, pardon. This is a very famous peace prayer of St. Francis, and I think we often fail to realize that this epidemic has gone on as long as I've known. The first time I ever talked about drug addiction was when I was in high school, and that was like a really long time ago. Okay? So we are not dealing with a new problem, but we're dealing with a new change in that problem that is affecting people we know, people in our families, people in our neighborhoods, and it's not affecting the people among our loved ones. It's affecting our community in need for social services, in need for additional police protection to reduce robberies and crime, as well as the fact that right now it's killing 4 times as many as car accidents in our community. Nationwide, opiates are probably equal, but this is a problem that we have to deal with now, and the doctors have to be a part of the solution. 80% of heroin users began with the abuse of prescription opiate medicines, whether they got them from me or another doctor, or they got them out of a pill cabinet from somewhere, or they stole them. That's often how they start. But 80% of patients who are opiate abusers report chronic pain. And as a physician, at the same time that we're supposed to avoid risk to the community, to all of us who have to deal with it, we are obligated to work with patients to genuinely reduce their pain and improve their function. There are top 10 reasons that the physician's going to take, and I'm going to try to make them simple. One is that there are new guidelines from the Centers for Disease Control as well as the Wisconsin Medical Examining Board on how to prescribe these medicines safely. and they will revolutionize the practice of taking care of pain in our state, as well they should, and they involve the community understanding how physicians have to address this problem when we're talking to you one-on-one in the office. 9, we have to make a better diagnosis of the pain that people have. We believe what you tell us, but what we also have to make sure of is that we are doing the best we can through testing and imaging where it's appropriate to come up with what is the best answer. And that means that we have to understand the nature of what is the type of pain. That may take time in listening. We may need to examine you more carefully and appropriately order imaging tests. But there isn't an imaging test that tells me whether you're really in pain or not. We have to talk about it to really understand it and then to decide what's the next step. 8, as physicians, we always have to now use the lowest risk option. That may mean you go in for a broken arm and you come out not with a narcotic prescription, but with a non-narcotic prescription. 7, when we treat acute pain promptly, we need to use short courses of opiates. You'll now see that it'll be common that you'll get less than 3 days of medication. You won't get enough medicine for the month if you break your arm, right? And in part, that's to improve safety, but it's also that many people go to their dentist for a bad tooth or break something. They get enough medicine for a month, and they may take it for a day or two. And where does that medicine end up? It's in somebody's cabinet. And I have teenage boys. They're at risk for this kind of problem. That's how these things start, right? And for many people, they fail to realize that the value of that medicine is in the hundreds of dollars. So 3 days or less, and then they'll need to be reevaluated by primary care doctors like us, who then have to reevaluate and decide what is needed next. 6, use pain medication agreements. They're called different things in different places, but what it is it's informed consent. Do you know the risk that we're taking? 20 years ago, when we started using narcotics based on lectures from the University of Wisconsin and others, more commonly for non-cancer pain, we didn't think there was a lot of addiction risk, but no one knew. Now we can sit there and tell you, even if you are at low risk, that you're looking at a 3 to 5% risk that you will develop addiction, and a certain percentage of patients who develop addiction die, right? That we didn't know 20 years ago. We know that risk is now, and we have to be clear about the risks and benefits and make sure that people use these medicines safely and safeguard them so they're not stolen, they don't disappear. 5, we need to provide comprehensive care for patients, which include things like physical therapy, chiropractic, exercise. Getting people moving often means that they reduce the disability that they have from pain. And we need, when we're talking to you, not to try to evaluate pain as the 5th vital sign, 1 to 10 and all that. We need to talk about how are you able to function, how are you able to sleep, and to work on restorative principles that may not involve pain medicines to help you heal as a whole person. And, when necessary, use the specialists that are now available in all of our systems, that are pain specialists at Mercy and at Dean and in Beloit, to help make sure that you get the best possible care. We need to obviously make a careful and deliberate shift when we make a choice to use chronic pain medicines for chronic pain and assess those long-term risks. People often have history, medical history, that tells us that they're at greater risk. Now, if I give you a medicine that proves that you're at greater risk, you'd want to know about it because you would want to take that into consideration. We need to do that too. We need to reevaluate the diagnosis and make sure that people have got the best care and talk about what those risks are. We need frequent follow-up. In this busy primary care community, it's hard to get in to be seen often enough, but people need to be seen more often, more reevaluation, more urine drug testing to make sure that people are taking what they're supposed to and not what they're not. Appropriate pill counts to make sure that they have the right amount of medicine and not misusing them. And now, as of January, by law, we will be required to check the prescription database. That is every prescription for any scheduled medicine, for every time we write for it and every time we refill it. So there'll be workload at the clinics to try to make that happen. And of course, every time you're seen, we're going to be asking you, are you having problems with the medicine? Are you having side effects? Are they working? Or if the medicine's not working, reevaluating you for whether we're dealing with harm. Am I making you worse with the medicines we're giving you? And if so, do we need to work on reduction in the medicine and finding other alternatives? And if we run into patients who have what's now called opioid use disorder, which we used to just call addiction, that we make appropriate referrals to specialists who can provide medical-assisted therapy for patients who have essentially opioid use disorder and make sure that they get care to not get abandoned into the street where they buy heroin and they end up dying. And that's what this all leads to, which is that we still have to focus on the safe care of pain for every patient. And that includes not just the people that we're talking to in front of us, but also the fact that this involves our entire community. Because if it's not my kid who's in trouble, it could be my kid's friend who's in trouble. And we owe it as an obligation not only to take care of the patient in front of us, but to be aware of the risks of the care we provide to our entire community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Murdy. Our second guest speaker tonight is Dr. Jay McNeil. He's the EMS Medical Director at Mercy Health. He serves as the Medical Director for multiple fire, EMS, and law enforcement agencies in the area. He's been active in Narcan implementation for the agencies he works with. As an emergency medicine physician and active MD1 field responder, he has seen the effect of overdose in our community. Welcome, Dr. McNeil.
Okay, so what we've done on the EMS and the fire and the law enforcement side of this has been, what if the preventive measures don't work? And we do have overdose situations. We frequently respond to overdoses in the community. I work in the field and also clinically in the emergency department, so what we've tried to do is really integrate that response. We've got a lot of law enforcement that carries naloxone or Narcan, depends on whether you want to go generic or trade name. EMS carries it. We were one of the first counties in the state to be part of the pilot project for EMTs to carry Narcan, and this was, I think, 2, maybe 3 years ago. So just 2 or 3 years ago, our EMTs were not carrying Narcan. So we would have EMTs in Edgerton and Evansville and Broadhead and areas that didn't have paramedics, and they didn't have the reversal medications. So we were one of the first systems in the state to be part of that pilot to get that. We've moved that out to law enforcement. We have medical direction in many agencies in Illinois, so we're doing it there as well. The problem with the opiate is that it actually suppresses your respiratory drive. And what Narcan does is it reverses that. It binds to it and it kind of pulls it off those receptors a little bit and gets you breathing again, hopefully. So that's good. And we do community CPR and those types of things as well. So that's kind of the best that we can hope to do. The prevention is obviously very important. The treatment that we provide is also important, and getting there quickly. So the issue with this is continuing to treat it. I think the removing the stigma of drug addiction is a huge piece of this too. Me personally, I have to be honest, okay? I've learned over the past few years, I am capable of learning and changing my ways. Don't tell my wife, okay? When I started in this job, I've still got a scar on my left hand. I was just looking at it when the doctor was talking. One of the first overdose patients I dealt with as a young paramedic back 27 years ago. The philosophy then was, you give that user, the abuser, you give that junkie the full load of the Narcan and you ruin their high because they woke you up. That's the philosophy we had back then. And I've got a scar for that, and I learned from it. All of us in here probably have scars. And they might not be on our body. It might be for somebody we've seen or somebody we know that's gotten ill or died from an overdose. And for those deaths, I'm genuinely sorry. We have, as a group, as physicians, I think we've taken more responsibility for this recently. I personally have a paramedic friend of mine, a physician friend of mine that have lost their careers because of drug addictions. And I think one of them made it very profound for me. He said, do you think when I broke my back, and I went to the doctor that day, I said, please start me on Vicodin so I can become a drug addict and lose my entire career and lose everything that is of value in my life. So it can happen that easily. So over the years, I guess what I'm saying is my agenda and my thought process has changed. I write shorter courses of narcotics for patients in the ER. I've treated some of you in the emergency department, and when we have those discussions in the emergency department, they are not pleasant discussions because nobody likes pain. And so it's a tough issue to deal with, and I think there's no one right approach. I think the fact that primary care is working on it, emergency medicine is working on it, in the field we're working on it to try and save lives as best as possible. Law enforcement in this community has engaged and taken a different approach to try and communicate with people with issues and try and get them plugged into resources. This is not somebody shooting up behind the dumpster. This is not somebody that is out to ruin your life or your family's life. These are our friends, these are our family members, these are people that a lot of us know that get into a bad situation, and once you get into that addiction mindset, nothing else matters. And for us to not ever have been in that mindset to try and understand that is incredibly difficult, almost impossible to think like that. So all I can offer is that the people that have issues are people too. It could be my kids. I've seen young people die, and we're doing what we can to try and alleviate that and stop it. And I'm sorry, I didn't think I'd get emotional, but I just have flashbacks of some of the images I've seen dealing with it in the field. And I know some of you have experienced, some of them have been your relatives and your friends, and I'm sorry for that. I think moving forward, we'll continue to work on the Narcan programs, continue to push community CPR, those types of things. So if you don't know CPR, you should go out and get trained. The Narcan is becoming more and more available, and Chief Moore and the officers and I have been talking about that. That's not 100%. There's a lot of medications out there and drugs, and a lot of these drugs that come into the community are contaminated with fentanyl and carfentanil and things that the Narcan doesn't work on. So I think what's key is if you have friends that have issues, giving someone Narcan may not be the ultimate fix. You have to give the Narcan and be ready to do first and call 911, even if it's at risk of you maybe getting in trouble. You just have to make that call, because some of these drugs are so potent right now. The carfentanil is, we say 100 times? 100 times more potent than fentanyl. So a Narcan dose, a standard dose, is not going to reverse that. So you've got to give that Narcan and call 911 and get more Narcan and train providers coming. So those are the kinds of things we're trying to push out to the providers. We're changing our protocols so we don't rely on the Narcan. We give the Narcan, but we also want to make sure the patients are breathing or we're breathing for them. So thank you for your attention, and we're going to continue to work on it as best as we can. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McNeil. And our next speaker tonight is Officer Chad Woodman. He's a Janesville native, graduated from Parker High School. Do you really want me to give the year you graduated? All right. Back in 1991, Chad has served in law enforcement for almost 19 years, starting his career with the Rock County Sheriff's Office and hiring on with the Janesville Police Department in 2000. He has held several positions with the department, including second and third shift patrolman, bicycle and motorcycle patrol, special operations unit, SWAT, and sniper team leader. His current position as the death, recovery, or prison officer has earned him the affectionate nickname of Drop Cop. I did that. You see that? You said I could change it.
All right, so your drop cop might get emotional also, I'm sorry. I apologize right now. As Sarah said, I run the police department's death recovery or prison program, which started approximately 2.5 years ago as a direct response to the current and oncoming epidemic that the country was seeing at the time. Police Chief Dave Moore, who's here tonight, allocated one officer from our department. That officer was Brian Foster at the time, to start identifying heroin addicts, talking to them, and letting them know that there's treatment out there for them. So it was a kind of a cause and effect, so to speak. We we started going against, or we started going after the demand versus the supply for a change. So once again, that was approximately 2.5 years ago. I started this assignment a year ago, and since then, since its inception, we've identified approximately 172 heroin addicts in our city. We've spoken with approximately 72 of those, and we've offered help to 72 of those, all right? Out of those 72, there have been 2 that have came through our door that we've offered help to that have overdosed and died resulting from that overdose. Now, with anything, I can throw statistics at you all day and numbers and graphs and charts and tell you this is what we're doing. As you all know, as you all sit here, you all know that there's more than 172 addicts just in this area, all right? Out of those 60-some that we've offered help to, there have been more that have overdosed, not necessarily died, but went back to using. So I've learned to measure my successes by small victories, all right? And they don't happen every day. But those small victories might be, did somebody call me today? Did a client come in and talk to me? Did a client tell me about their feelings? Whether those feelings are good or bad, do they know me enough to trust me to where they can pick up a phone or walk into the police department and say, hey, I need to talk to Woody, all right? Another small victory that I have is, did they use today? Did they say, hey, I know that there's a bad batch of heroin out there. I'm going to make the decision not to use today, all right? Small victory. Very big victory is they didn't die over the weekend, all right? I don't like red on my board. Now, obviously, I've met some extremely great people being in this position, all right? So when I have those days where I don't feel so hot about my job, and the chief knows, I come to him every once in a while and talk to him. He asks me, hey, Woody, how you doing? And I do have those days. I can tell you right now that if I go to a 12-step meeting, and I do, I walk into those doors and I talk to people, or I pick up the phone and I talk to one of the people who are my liaisons, or I just talk to a person that I've had contact with that might have been a past client and they're doing good, that's a small victory for me and it makes me feel better, all right? She's going to hate me for saying this. Haley, can you raise your hand? All right. Folks, not my small victory, but everybody's small victory here. That's actually a very big victory. Haley has 6 years sobriety this December. She is also the proud mother of a 1-year-old son, a 4-year-old daughter, and just last weekend, now a proud wife. So once again, because of people like Haley and everybody in this room, it makes me have one of these very, I guess, large victories in my head, knowing that there's hope out there, there's people out there that are there to help. There's 26 booths here that show me that there's a community who cares about this addiction that's currently going on. And you'll see here very shortly, the next speaker, that if you're struggling with addiction, all right, you probably can't do it on your own, but you can still do it, all right? Once again, there's a lot of people here that can help, and the one thing that I learned from the military is you work better as a team, all right? So if you're looking for help, please call. I'm not there to throw handcuffs on you. I'm not there to throw you in jail. I'm there to get you help, all right?
Thank you, Officer Woodman. Our last speaker tonight is Kyle Pusick. He is a Janesville native who graduated from Craig High School. Do you want me to say that? Okay. In 1994. After graduating from high school, he went on to pursue a bachelor's degree at UW-Whitewater in public relations with a minor in marketing. While promoting events through television and magazines for the bicycle industry over 11 years, he became addicted to prescription opiates. Kyle battled both prescription and heroin addiction for 12 years of his life. He has been clean since November 22nd, 2013. And is currently in his third year as a union electrician apprenticeship. Kyle offers hope to those struggling with addiction. You got it.
First off, I would like to thank all of you for being here, because to me it's very important that this community cares, and I think this is a great number, so I really do appreciate that. Again, I'm Kyle Pusick. I am a heroin addict in long-term recovery. Tonight I come to share the joys of being clean and sober, and I want to let you know that long-term recovery of heroin addiction is possible. And this not only benefits the addict himself and his family, but also the community as a whole. There are two cliches that I was raised with, and I would like to share them with you in the new meaning that they have to me and how it's became relevant to me in my recovery and what it could mean to this city. The first is I was always taught and raised to believe that it takes a village to raise a child. I use this as a metaphor. The child is something that's growing or something that's organic, like this problem with heroin addiction and opiate use. And the second one, my stepfather used to tell me to nauseam, and that's either be part of the solution or you're part of the problem. And that's why I'm glad you're all here, is because this means you are trying to become a part of the solution and not letting this problem continue to go. Sorry, I'm not as well versed as these guys. For a second here, let me just tell you a little bit about how I became an addict. Unfortunately, my road to becoming an addict is all too common, and as Dr. Murdy said, it's almost going to fall within his slide of how things happen. From the outside, at age 11, you couldn't tell I was already experimenting with drugs and alcohol, but unfortunately I was. By the age 15, I was not only using alcohol and smoking weed, but I had already started taking hallucinogenics and pretty much raiding every medicine cabinet that I had ever found, be it my family's or friends. By 22, I took every chance I had to either ask people for pain medicine or anything that would make me feel better, whether or not it was Xanax or I had no shame anymore. I just asked. I told you I had a hurt ankle, whatever it was. People believed me. By 2005, I was 30 and living into Florida. And after going through multiple surgeries on my mouth, which I had my upper jaw replaced and my lower jaw, and a couple bad broken ankles, all it took was me walking into a pain clinic in Florida with a couple x-rays, and I was prescribed an exorbitant amount of painkillers, and that's what I did. I just lived on them, sold a little bit just to pay for my next time doctor visit, and that's how I got high. Well, after actually meeting a good doctor and getting my ankle taken care of, my prescriptions for pain medicines had stopped. They wouldn't give them to me anymore. So I needed to find a cheap and effective replacement for that, and unfortunately, it was going to the street and buying heroin. Things went downhill fast at that point, and in 2013, I was hospitalized 3 different times, either for an overdose or for trying to kill myself. And the final straw came on November 3rd of 2013. Basically, I'd had enough. I was lonely, lost all my money at the bar, was drunk, was high on cocaine, and also had some heroin in my system at that time, and just decided it was the time. I sped my car as fast as I could and hit a light pole, and by the grace of God and a higher power, I walked away, and my car was totaled, my airbags never went off, and I snapped the pole clean, but somehow I walked away. My family knew I was serious at that time, as I had made another date that I wasn't going to fail. I was going to kill myself by choice of a gun. Luckily, they intervened and sent me off on November 21st of 2013 to Phoenix, Arizona, where I was fortunate enough to get inpatient care. Since that time, since my little local village, my family had given me the opportunity to spend 90 days in rehab and get clean and sober. I've spent my time trying to help others and live a healthier lifestyle. Through that inception, Officer Woody and myself and the people from Anytime Fitness, who you'll see here today, have also been working on a pilot program to help people live a healthier lifestyle and help replace their negative habits with positive habits like staying in shape, going to the gym. I feel like I'm jumping all over. I'm sorry, guys. But nowadays, I take time out of my life to help support myself, to help provide hope. Even if that hope is taking a negative moment and turning it into a positive experience. Today, hope is what gives me the strength to try and make a change. If I can do it, believe me, anybody can. Hope is contagious. It's like gas on a fire. Leave tonight with hope for your loved ones, for your neighbors that could be suffering. Don't give up on them. Give them hope and opportunity to change their lives, and that change may turn into a change for another. Start this fire of hope tonight. My hope is based in my future. There is no hope into holding on to past failures unless you make it a positive learning experience. Thank you.
All right, I'm just going to talk really loud. Okay, so thank you, Kyle, for sharing your story. It takes a lot of courage. I hate public speaking with a passion, and I'm not even up here telling any of my personal stories. So I just want everybody to take a minute to applaud the courageousness that
And thank you to all of our speakers tonight for taking the time out of their schedule to be here tonight. Thank you all for coming here and taking the time out of your schedule to be here tonight. Again, just thank you everybody for coming. We really appreciate it, and I love that hope is contagious, and I hope that continues from tonight's evening. So thank you all.
ECHO is happy to be here. We're an agency that provides basic services to anybody here in our community, so that's an item that is needed for those that are recovering. We are well known for being a food pantry here in Janesville. We provide food Monday through Friday, 9 to 11. We're also becoming more involved in housing. We do a lot with prevention services. We can help people prevent becoming homeless, or if they already are homeless, we have some funding that allows us to get them off the streets and into permanent housing by providing security deposit, first month's rent, along with case management to help get them stable in housing so they can work on their other barriers they may have. We greatly appreciate the community's support. About 85% of our budget comes from the community and goodwill donations. The other 15% does cover our prevention and housing services. But yeah, we are very happy to be here and excited to be a part of this event. We are always in need of funding to provide services and food for our food pantry.
Hi, I'm Connie Olson with CASA of Rock County, and we are court-appointed special advocates. We work with children that have been abused or neglected and assigned to the Child Protective Services Agency. Children that come into the courts have done nothing wrong. It's just because things have not gone right in their families. So our volunteers are assigned one child or sibling group at a time, and they work with the family in numerous ways. They may help them go to counseling. They may take them to back to school night or parent-teacher conferences. They're the one person in the child's life that doesn't go away. If the foster homes are changed, if the social workers are changed, the CASA volunteer stays with them until their case closes. And during that time, we also write reports to the judge, and those reports tell the judge things that are going right in the family and things that are not going right in the family, and then make recommendations on how we could fix those things. And right now we have over 97 kids on a waiting list, so if you are interested in being a CASA volunteer, we'd love you to have you join our team. Our contact information is 608-305-0187, and we'd love to have you join our team.
Thank you. My name is Ian Hedges, and I'm the Executive Director for HealthNet of Rock County. We are a free and charitable clinic that provides healthcare services to the uninsured and underinsured. We wanted to be here as part of this event today because several of our patients in the past have experienced addiction, or some of them have overdosed. We really want to be a resource for support, and we want to try to make sure that if they are struggling with addiction, that they can come to us and we can help make sure that they do not fall out of treatment. We are always seeking volunteers for any kind of healthcare profession that you can think of. We always need CNAs, nurses, physicians, dentists even, who are actually a big part of helping us reduce the opioid epidemic, and we always appreciate the community's support.
My name is Jennifer Braun, and I'm the Executive Director of Building a Safer Evansville. We are a substance abuse prevention agency based in Evansville, Wisconsin. We focus mainly on youth, but we deal with all high-risk behaviors. We're here tonight just to be part of this community event, to be part of making the heroin epidemic known throughout our county, and to come together with recovery, with treatment, and with prevention to come up with a community solution. You can get a hold of us at our office is in Evansville, 150 West Main Street, or you can go on our website, www.buildingasaferevansville.org.
Hi, I'm Jane Goldberg. I'm a project coordinator with Janesville Mobilizing for Change, and we are a community coalition with the focus to prevent and reduce substance abuse among our youth. So we do that in a variety of different ways. We do a lot of education and awareness in the community. We also have a youth mental health first aid training program that we offer to any adults who work with youth to kind of identify any risk factors for mental illness and how to get them the help that they need. We are here at the Hope Over Heroin event in Rock County because we want to raise awareness about the issue that is going on in Rock County. So that's why we are here tonight. You can check us out on Facebook or on our website at jm4c.org.
Hi, my name is Brenda. I work for Rock County Human Services, specifically in the AODA department. We offer services of an AODA walk-in clinic for people who do not have insurance or access to treatment. They can attend the walk-in clinic Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and it's from 2 to 4. Again, this is specific for people who don't have access to treatment. We would do a brief assessment of needs, and they would be referred to an outside community agency where they would be able to have access to treatment for 3 months through Rock County funding. We would encourage the clients to access insurance throughout this 3-month period of time, and we would also assist them in this.
My name is Amanda Nelson, and I am a case manager with the Rock County Treatment Court Office. What our program does, I work specifically with drug court. What our program does is we take people who have charges that are either drug related or drug, they did it in order to get drugs, and they come into our program and get lots of therapy that have to do with dual diagnosis, trauma, the AODA aspect, all kinds of things. We have on our board different groups that we offer, different things that our program emphasizes: responsibility, honesty, accountability, that kind of thing. It's done through the court. It's on the Rock County webpage, and you have to be court referred or referred by your probation agent.
Hello, I'm Sergeant Jay Williams with the Rock County Sheriff's Office, and we have a booth here. We have an in-house jail program that's called RECAP, Rock County Education and Criminal Addictions Program. Our program is designed for individuals who are sentenced to our jail, and it's a 5-month program. They can either be sentenced to the program or they can come into the program through probation, a probation referral. And our program is all about treatment, providing drug and alcohol treatment to individuals within the jail system. So again, it's a 5-month program. They get personal one-on-one counseling. They get classes such as anger management, AODA classes. They can work on their GED or HSED. And so there's all kinds of components that they get, treatment-based components, so that once they leave the jail, they have tools to use to help with the recovery of drugs or alcohol. So that's the RECAP program in the jail. I oversee that program, and we've been doing that for 25 years. We've done it for a long, long time. A part of the program also we do is community service. So the people in the program are required to do 85 hours of community service work. And so we go out to various places in the community, nonprofits, and provide services for them. So like ECHO, we do the fair, taking out garbage, and whatever people need us to do around the community, we do that work. And we also have a garden at our facility, jail facility. It's quite a big garden. We've had that for many, many years. All of the produce, everything that's planted in that garden and everything that's harvested goes to the community. Everything goes back to the community. So last year there was about 14,000 pounds of produce that was donated to the community. So again, that's ECHO, Salvation Army, all the different elderly or extended care facilities throughout Rock County. So that's another great part of the program. So, and then on top of that, the county also has a drug court program. I'm a team member of the drug court program, and that program is community-based. So that's similar treatment, but even more in the community for people who have charges, who come into the criminal justice system, but as a result of drug or alcohol addictions. So that program has been going for a number of years as well. It's a very successful program, similar to what RECAP is, but again, that's community-based. So there's a lot going on in Rock County, and you can see as you visit all the booths here. Everybody here is about providing services to people that need it. There's many, many people in this community. There is hardly anybody that would have come through these doors or that aren't even here. Everybody knows somebody that's been touched by addiction, and that's what we're about, is providing resources and services for people that need it, and family members to know where to go when they know that their family member needs something. That's what it's all about. So my contact information, again, I'm with the Sheriff's Office in Rock County. My desk number is 608-757-8018, and that's how you can contact me. I can get you information about our RECAP program as well as the drug court program that's in our county.
Hi, I'm Joni. I'm one of the medical assistants at First Choice, and we offer people with limited income or no income, no insurance. We offer birth control, pap smears, STD screening. You don't have to have insurance, you don't have to have any income. Donations are welcome. And we're in Janesville and Beloit. We're at 1015 West Burbank in Janesville. We're down in the Eclipse Center in Beloit.
Hi, I'm Officer Chad Sullivan with the Janesville Police Department. I'm currently our crime prevention officer and work with the community on a lot of different events. Today here at the Hope for Heroin event, I just have a booth showing the public kind of what we have, different ways that we have to give information to the police department. And one of those is through Crime Stoppers. So I've got some information of a new app that we're promoting called P3 Tips by Anderson Software. And it's a way for the public to give us crime information anonymously. And also it's used in the schools for kids to give information to the schools if they're having problems with social issues, mental health issues, those things that aren't really criminal in nature, but it's an app that we're promoting to the kids to communicate with us and the schools. So, and today with the heroin epidemic is such just a horrible, horrible thing. And we have a really great program at our police department that I'm proud of with the drop officer, and Chad Woodman is doing amazing work. And I'm really happy that our chief has made that a priority for us to treat overdose as more of a victim type thing and getting them direct access to help as quickly as possible. We are making a difference. Chad Woodman is doing a fantastic job. Officer Foster from our police department has done a fantastic job. So today is really about information to the public, letting them know that this affects everybody in the community. It can every socioeconomic status, every child versus adults. It can happen anywhere. It starts with prescription pills, moves to heroin eventually. We want to stop it before it can happen. So we're with Janesville Mobilizing for Change. We're promoting our drug roundups to get those pills out of the hands of the kids and other people. And today is a great time for us to talk to the community and listen to some really success stories that they're going to hear tonight, which is fantastic. So